Welcome to Sam Outside. I'm Sam and I'm outside needing to restore my balance. Yeah, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Uh, Multiple reasons, but going out in nature does exactly what I need it to do physically, mentally, emotionally. It's a reset button. And there's more to the act of intentional connection, nature connection. It's a switch and it takes effort. It takes a certain amount of mindfulness. The intentionality is to be present and to go outside in nature for the effect, the desired outcome. And for me, I've had the opportunity to work over 30 years in the outdoor industry, whether it be outdoor education or, as an arborist, as a forest therapy guide in summer camps. And I walk the dog twice a day. So, I've chosen to make a life outside. And I do make efforts to not take it for granted, to realize that I have made choices in my life to improve my physical, mental, emotional state by avoiding the geometry, the sound, the smell, and what seems to be a busyness that is urban life. And I've had those opportunities, and yeah, it wasn't the best version of myself. So despite how much time I get to spend outdoors, there are times where I have to do it despite despite whether it being part of my job or part of just walking the dog and the things I do out of habit. So that is the switch. So there are times where I know I need to do it. And that switch, that effort, needs to have a desired outcome. And for that, I need to have the time, I need to have the space, and I need to have the experience of walking through the forest more slowly and to open up my senses. Breathe. Change the way I move. Look around to engage both hemispheres of my brain. Right? So as we walk through nature, rather than just looking at our feet, we tend to look side to side. And what that does, and what I know personally, and what studies show, is that lateral eye movement engages both hemispheres. So I can shut off those emotional parts of my brain, cause stress, cause doubt, cause fear. And by going back and forth, the more logical part of my brain can kick in and say, this is life. You have control over this. So breathe, walk, get some exercise, get some vitamin D, get some fresh air. And, that logical part of my brain understands and has a conversation with the emotional part of my brain saying, this is hard. And then the other part of my brain can say, yeah, it's supposed to be. Let's fix it. So when I can smell nature, when I can watch nature, when I can feel nature, listen to nature, it reduces cortisol. It only takes 20 minutes to reduce those levels significantly. In the act of moving, the act of breathing, getting fresh air, the act of doing something that I know is good for me, that's healthy, those choices all release better chemicals, better hormones. Serotonin, endorphins, dopamine, oxytocin. Those are all tipping the balance. So for me, sometimes it's an act, it's an intentional engagement with nature, with myself, with the dog, all to better my situation, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Because I deserve it, and so do those with whom I spend the most time, my family, and for those who I am responsible for, my family, my colleagues, and, well, the public in general, because I do have to interact. I have to leave my rural environment and find myself in urban situations where life is less comfortable for me, not for others. You know, the majority of people find themselves in situations where that is the reality and they thrive. I'm not one of those animals. I'm an outdoor cat. So it's about balance. And when I'm out of balance, when I'm off balance, I do this. I walk. And maybe it's a guy thing. I've been told that I have that ability, we have that ability to turn it off, right? Just turn it off. Just breathe, just be, just notice, be aware. In its simplest terms, spending time in nature is a distraction, all right? It allows you 20 minutes to a half hour to stop thinking about those things that prior to that time outside were causing you stress, right? We're raising blood pressure, we're changing your heart rhythms, that were adding tension to muscle groups, to your diaphragm, that were keeping you in the sympathetic state, affecting your metabolism, your metabolic rate, your digestion. All these things come with stress. So for me, the biggest thing I can do to improve my situation is go for a walk. But I've got to do it with intention, got to do it with purpose, and I've got to do it with practice. And it's taken me a long time, and that's why I chose the path of Forest Therapy Guide, so that I can share my experience, not just the theory, but my practice with others who've either been diagnosed, recommended, or just curious about the healing benefits of nature. So we often find ourselves out of balance. Sometimes it takes a physician to analyze that for us, do some tests, and it can hit you like a hammer. But there are solutions. And for me, there are times throughout my day, more than once a day, every day, where I find relief, where I find calm, where I find peace in my own head. All right. So despite the interactions with society, with work, family, that can cause discomfort, that can cause doubt, that can cause fear. Nature doesn't hold anyone to that. Nature just is. Right? It's got its own rhythm, it's got its own pulse, it's got its own intentions. And when we participate in nature connection, it does change our physical, mental, and emotional well-being. So if you're off balance, 20 minutes outside, change your life. Going through it right now, and it helps. So I thought I would share. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.